Hello, and a warm welcome to the Align with Aline podcast series 2. This series, we're talking all about the art of healing, and I'm delighted to introduce you today to the wonderful David Chevers. David is a musician, a songwriter, an artist in every way. He's an actor on stage and screen, a performer, an MC, and a presenter. There isn't anything he doesn't do. And he's come on today to share with us his story of how he realized his passion for the performing arts and to inspire us. Thank you so much for being here, my lovely.
Hey, Aline, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Good day, good day.
Good
Looking
day,
forward.
good day. So if you can please tell us a little bit about when did you first realize your real passion for performing arts? What's your story, please?
Well, wow. I mean, I think I was always drawn to perform, but sort of quite surprisingly, once one of my earliest memories is like auditioning for a school play in my primary school, and I don't know what came over me. I don't know what urged or pushed me, but there was an audition notice placed in the school ground, and it was an audition in the library after hours. I remember one day, and I don't know what I prepared, but I did something. I did some sort of a monologue or something, and I'll never forget the faces of my two teachers in that moment. Like they both turned and looked at each other and looked at me with a face that sort of told me like this is something I'm good at. Like this is like wow, like this I'd never garnered a response like that before in any capacity. And maybe for a little attention deficit kid, that was a big moment, you know? That was like a boom, like I'm good at this. This works. This is interesting. This is something I'd like to
It just
sizzle in and discover, you know?
Amazing.
And I got the role, and they put me in this school play
Of course you did.
as like as as like the leading character in this school play that was like quite it was called The Circus Adventure, and it was about this guy who had to overcome his fears to get himself into a circus to become the circus sort of like strongman. And he was this really sort of like scrawny little kid with no confidence, and his father would teach him this phrase to say. He would say Nakilawi. Nakilawi is the magic word, which is I can, I will, spelled backwards. Wow. And I've never forgotten that. And that's something I still use to this day. Nakilawi. Nakilawi, I can, I will, I can, I will. Nakilawi.
Magic. Did your teachers write that? Did they write the story?
No, it was a published play. It was an actual play that was published that they directed.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Nakilawi. I love that. So you started off in the right place at the right time. You just saw the audition notice, it felt right, and the rest is history.
Well, I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I think I'm still sort of like waiting for that moment to drop. But I mean, it definitely served me in terms of like a life path that I've sort of been journeying on for a long time now, and it was definitely the first sort of maybe culminating moment, or like sort of I don't know,
igniting the passion.
Exactly, that sort of fired me off in a sort of very micro-focused direction for a lot of my life.
So after you were in the school play, and you know, obviously you said about your teachers, just kind of wow moment, seeing how incredible you were. How was it actually doing the performance, the first performance? How did that feel?
I have like vague recollections, like little glimpses of moments. I remember once I was supposed to come on in this one part of the play, and I'm disguised as the strong man in the circus show. And how they disguised me was just putting a fake mustache on me. And I remember coming out onto the stage, and I'd forgotten to put my mustache on, like bad actor 101, forget your prop backstage. And did not put the mustache on. And I remember the first time my co-actor improvised with me, the first time I discovered improv which was literally this moment of him looking at me and going, instead of saying, "Oh, your moustache is so recognizable," he just said, "That nose is so recognizable."
And that was your intro to improv. Brilliant.
And I remember that moment of electricity, that moment of magic, that moment of what I now identify as my addiction, which is transcendence. I remember that moment very clearly in terms of that state of play that you were just invited into, that sort of like jumping off a cliff feeling of, I either commit to this or this falls, or this completely we stumble, or we just grab the gift and go with it and keep going.
And embrace it. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, my first memories of that are very, very exciting in terms of like a great first sort of introduction to improv, which has served me greatly in my sort of exploration of what that means.
Fabulous. So after you were in the play, what happened next? Did you study? Did you join drama groups? What happened next?
Yeah, like I was with the drama group in my primary school, all throughout primary school. And then I was advised to attend a performing arts high school where I specialized in drama for 5 years. As like a normal school subject, it filled out as two of my main school subjects. I had English and Afrikaans and geography and biology. And I mean, I don't know what they call them now, showing my age. Like we had old school subjects. And
likewise.
Yeah. And that just sort of spurred me to like sort of focus on that for my high school career. I couldn't really afford to study post high school. So I just did like a bridging program in music. I did music and piano in like sort of the UNISA grade standards that I needed to sort of acquire. And I did first year dance, strangely enough, because I thought, I don't know, I just sort of like I fell in love with musical theater towards the end of high school. And I think that became a big focus for me. And I thought if I could just up my ante in terms of my dance skills, my movement skills, it would serve me better for a sort of a future that I saw for myself in musical theater, which did then happen. So like I did musical theater for about 10 years throughout South Africa, traveling, touring musicals, you name it, everything from Sound of Music to the Rocky Horror Show to Chess, the musical I did a revival of that was very special. I did a beautiful big musical called The Boys in the Photograph that Ben Elton actually helped and came through. I did a rehearsal with Ben Elton.
Wow.
Yeah, very cool. I mean, like I spent an afternoon working with the man on a brand new book that he had written for this opening of the musical in 2010 when South Africa was hosting the World Cup.
Oh,
we did that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So how, and because I'm going to take you back to the feeling of that, if that's all right.
Yeah.
So when you you found your love for musical theatre, did that all happen really seamlessly, going to the auditions, and how did that all happen, if you don't mind sharing with us?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was very inspired by, I mean, just essentially starting from doing Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Like they cast me as the narrator in high school. And it was like my final year and like such a juicy, crunchy, but like what excited me about the genre is that I could feel it in every tip of my finger. Like it was combining dance and song and acting. And it was just like, wow, I never knew that this sort of genre existed where I could sort of, you know, dabble in so many things that I found delicious.
Experience so much at the same time. Incredible.
Yeah, like for me, it got to a point where I couldn't afford to study. I was, you know, broke as fuck. And and I just started, I auditioned for my first musical, which was the Rocky Horror Show, for an incredible South African director named Ian van Memety, who's like a South African legend in his own right. And it's such a gift that he was my first time, my first experience. Not like that, just like my first director. And although let's start some rumors.
Yeah, absolutely. Secret safe for me and everybody on YouTube.
And I remember the audition process with him, and I just remember it being quite a sort of life-changing experience in terms of I had no idea where I was about to go, where I was about to do. I was also coming off having recovered from some of the first panic attacks I'd ever gone through, and went through quite a big sort of like fearful trip just before this audition process.
And how
I
old were you,
remember
if you don't mind me asking, please?
I was like 21, I'd
Okay,
imagine,
yeah.
around 2021.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been hospitalized for about 2 weeks and like sort of linked up to an EKG machine to check my brain waves and all that. They thought I had temporal lobe epilepsy at a stage, which they then eventually just wrote off to panic disorder. And that was the time that I auditioned for this show and got it. And I remember it like sort of just being such an affirmation. And at the same time, life-changing, because it sort of took me from zero, like just sort of auditioning, to now being part of a national tour where I got to see my entire country play a principal character in a show 7 nights a week, 7 shows a week. And I continued like this for 2 years. And then sort of that led me to sort of go from show to show and strength from show to show. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, completely. Because one of my other questions, and I'm so glad you brought up about how important it is looking after yourself as well and well-being when you're in any kind of performing arts. Excuse my voice, by the way, everybody. So one of my questions was going to be about, was there ever a situation where you felt not good enough and you weren't going to proceed, but it's almost like those panic attacks came in, but you pushed through them? This is one of the things, sorry, excuse me, I sound like Darth Vader. And this is one of the things that I really want to help people with and share with, you know, so because people look up to you, you know, they aspire to be you, and seeing that you're human, that you're an empath, I feel it's going to help so many people.
And such a sensitive soul. Like my sensitivity, it's been the longest walk of understanding that my sensitivity is a great power for me in the rehearsal room and a great power for me in an exploration of a character. But for a long time, I mean, I wished I was stronger. I wished I was better, built differently in terms of being able to navigate an industry that is quite superficial at times, quite cutthroat at times, and it's really sort of full of empaths who are maybe misunderstood and also trying to one-up each other. I think this panic disorder that started for me and walking this path specifically with the Rocky Horror Show, I used to have such a meditative process before walking out onto that stage. It would start with a half-an-hour warm-up process, which included like a good 5-10 meditation before walking out onto stage.
Amazing.
Because of the amount of fear that I was sort of carrying constantly. So if I hadn't had that half an hour, I would walk out onto the stage with great fear every night. I sort of feel like it's been a process of managing my fear and walking with my fear, because it's not something you ever get rid of, right? Like, fear is always there. I have, however, gotten so much better at walking and loving my fear. Brilliant. You know?
No, that's gorgeous, because one of the things that I've been delving into is, instead of it being our inner critic, is being our inner protector. And all those thoughts and fears are purely just to protect us. And when we say, Darth Vader, when we say
Darth Vader's sexy wife.
When we say to ourselves, our mind, our body, our soul, I've got this, I'm doing this, and embrace it. I mean, look what you've achieved. It's incredible and massively, massively inspiring. Thank you.
I think like things come to you, and I think I'm always scared in the beginning. I think fear is always like a beginning factor to any process, and it's amazing what you can do even if you're lied to, and if you lie to yourself. Fully. I think one of the scariest things I've ever had to do was, and I only found this out later, but my agency and an old agent of mine had lied to a production company here in Spain, and within the first 3 years of living in Spain, they had put me up for a telenovela to shoot seven episodes in like 19th century sort of Spanish, very classic Spanish, with a French accent laid on top of it. I later found out that my agency had told them I'm a French native, And here I was for like a month and a bit preparing before the shoot date, just like as if this was something that has been handed to me with all the mantras of like, this is not bigger than me. It's come my way.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure I'll be able to do this.
Yeah.
And literally just learn the lines and dialogue like a parrot. I mean, and we're talking about a stage where I could hardly speak Spanish of a level good enough to be able to just be able to understand the subtext or what the character's doing between the lines. Like, I had to Google Translate everything. So
did they tell you they'd lied then? Did they eventually tell you?
No, I found this out after I wrapped on shoot. After I did the 7 episodes, because I couldn't bring myself to have this conversation before because I was so scared of what it would do to my self-confidence in the process. I thought, rather let me just stay in this place, believing that this is mine and it's working out. I remember after I shot the first episode, I was like, oh, like the greatest sigh of relief, and like, I can do this, Davey, you got this. You know, that's how I speak to myself. I say, go, Davey, go.
Yay.
And yeah, but they told me after it, and I mean, I was flabbergasted. Like, it ended a relationship with my agency just out of the sheer, like, you can't do that to an actor. And like, thank God I didn't know. But if I did know, but it also just tells you once again that nakilawi, I can, I will. Like, the power of the mind is huge, and the power of how you speak to yourself in fearful moments is everything, you know?
I just feel you were set up with Nakilawi. I mean, that is the most beautiful mantra to hear as a child.
It's such a beautiful reminder. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes, because I think that is incredibly powerful. That out of my first memory, and something that I've chosen to do for the rest of my life, and have been doing for over 25 years now. It all starts with a really beautiful mantra that I still apply to this day.
It's so beautiful. So one of my questions was along your journey, have you been surrounded by many supportive people? And then you just mentioned about your previous agents.
I mean, I've had some dodgy agents.
But you stay true to yourself.
Incredibly, like, I remember my dad's always been like my number one fan, and my mom's always been incredibly supportive. My family's always honored that I love to do this and have been part of as much as they can be. I'm always so excited to share with my family anything that's happened. Now, especially, I'm an uncle of 7 nieces and nephews, so now like I'm really excited to do work that they can watch and enjoy.
Yeah,
you know, like, sort of that becomes more of a goal than anything, is that my nieces or nephews could see this. But yeah, I mean, like, a lot of the stuff is not really content that they can see yet, but they'll get to an age where they could. But yeah, a support, I definitely feel. It's also a perspective thing, because I spent many years feeling like I didn't have the support of my family in a perspective that I sort of feel like I've received healing in. I've done a lot of therapy in terms of my relations towards my family and myself.
Wonderful.
So in terms of that, supported, yes, but mainly by the support that I bring myself to through psychological support, through daily meditative support, through a constant checking in of self. I'm very grateful that what I do for a living is an exploration of the internal, an encouragement to do so. And I find the more I've delved in, the more I delve in and continue to delve in, and the more I continue to love Davey and know who I am, the more everything else sort of slots into place and works out.
And love starts with ourselves, doesn't it? I love that.
Yes, it does. Yes.
And so you knew from a really, really young age, because this is what I'm going to ask you as well, because you mentioned about the one-upmanship. So when you were doing the tours for the Rocky Horror Show, for The Sound of Music, were you with a supportive cast?
Very much so. Like, I think one of my favorite Stanislavski quotes is, he's the father of method acting, right? Stanislavski. It's a quote that states, there is no accident that brings us together in art. And I really feel like I have seen that proved over and over and over again. There is no accident in the friends and connections that productions have been included in have brought me, specifically with that show, my first professional experience. I was ushered in by some incredibly talented South African performers who were very generous and very kind.
Wonderful.
There's a toxicity that I became very aware of straight in the beginning.
Okay.
I think regarding my sexuality and a consciousness about, I think, coming out of a toxic era of that, where I was very aware that my homosexuality was something that needed to be hidden or
owned in.
I needed to butcher it up. Like I was always very concerned that when you walk into an audition room, you butcher it up. You're over masculine rather than under masculine.
Okay.
Which is something that I've dealt with over the years. And I feel like I've gone through maybe a decade in South African theater that was like a little toxic still, and that sort of, you know, we hadn't had the revelations of, I think, what's happened in the past 10 years in terms of that sort of psychology and that shared information has changed a lot of things in terms of how people treat each other in the workplace. I'm seeing a lot of that changing, you know, and a lot of like sort of, I don't know, maybe like my bane in the beginning was like my biggest fear was like toxic male attitudes. Being intimidated by a lot of men who were maybe bigger than you, tougher than you, or like in a maybe sort of on a higher pedestal than you. I was very aware of that. And I think I have come across a lot of that in my time. But generally, creatively, I've always felt really, really supported and really beautifully ushered into this, even in terms of directors and the people who are at the helm of it all, whose responsibility I really feel it is to navigate a ship and make sure that all the crewmates on the ship are contributing and feeling great and loving what they do. You know?
No, that's so beautiful. And I know you're hugely inspiring anyway, and I kind of feel for you. There may be a little book in the making, my lovely, so you can help actors who are in a similar situation.
David's Diaries.
Maybe dealing with their homosexuality as well. You can help them on that side of things. But also,
I mean, it's definitely it's an interesting I'm sure a lot of men my age share a similar feeling and story about sort of coming up in an industry that's now sort of evolving very rapidly and where that toxicity is no longer included. And I sort of feel like I came from a time where that was acceptable. I accepted the toxicity because I thought this was how it's going to be. And this is how you have to sort of play your way through it and navigate because of.
You had to take it. Yeah. No, I mean, it's incredible what's happening now with the diversity, the acceptance, absolutely everything.
Absolutely.
In terms of sensitivity, because there's so many people, I particularly like to help empaths. That's why I'm here, because I am an empath myself, as are you, my lovely.
Namaste.
Namaste. So when people say you have to have a really thick skin for this industry, or, you know, you couldn't possibly be in a room or in a shoot with too many people with all this going on because you feel everything, what would you say to people who are in that kind of area of fear because they're scared they're going to pick up on too much and they're not going to be able to perform because they're absorbing everything else that's going on around them? What would you say to them, please?
Oh, yeah, that's great question. That's something I navigate a lot. I think I've gotten better at certain things. I've gotten better at surrendering. I've gotten better at letting things go too. I remember, and I think that's the hardest thing to sort of feel and sort of step into, you know, make part of your skin. I don't think so much having a thick skin is important, but being able to let things go is everything. Being able to just surrender things. I personally, for myself, adopt more of a spiritual path on this planet. I feel like what works for me is to surrender it to God in terms of what I believe, in terms of whatever you want to call it, the Zephyr in the sky. I feel like I'm much happier living faithfully in trust of whatever is coming my way is something that is meant for me. That what will come to me comes to me. What doesn't come my way is not for me. Like we were speaking about earlier, I love the idea now of thinking about not booking a job rather as protection. in a way too, of
Mm.
like, maybe that wasn't for me. That like, as much as I might have felt like I could have nailed that part, could have killed it, maybe there was something in it that was protecting me from something I'm not ready to wake up to, or haven't woken up to yet, or and just was a trust in the stillness of maybe nothing happening, where you would have booked something, that what you need is on the way, already here. And also, like, one of my favorite mantras is like, I have everything I need.
Yeah, love that.
Like, I already have everything I need.
And more.
But
yeah, love that.
in terms of that sensitivity in the room with a lot of people, that's hard. That's something that you just have to keep navigating. As an empath, I'm always going to be bowled over by how other people are feeling in a room, and aware of that, and also aware of the fact that I'm being paid and employed to produce an emotional path here too, for this character, or not to manufacture, but to rather live and sort of breathe in this space too, where I'm contributing these energies to a room. It's hard. It's hard. Sometimes you deal with narcissists. There's so many narcissists in this business, and everywhere. There are so many people who don't listen, where I feel like the most important thing you need to do as an actor is listen. Like, if we're missing that, then it can become very complicated. I don't know. Yeah, but I think it's a process that I've gotten better and better at. I'm still tough at it. It's still hard. I try and live my life, no expectations, no judgments, and no fear of tomorrow. That's sort of like a mantra that I sort of hold for my daily self. And especially when it comes to casting, especially when it's like, oh, when you add cash figures to it, and this job is worth 10,000 grand, and this job is worth, Netflix series premiere, or, like the weight that you attach to whatever you're doing. I try not to. It's hard not to, but it's just a process of surrendering. I allow myself a day. With things. If I'm affected by something, if I'm affected in a rehearsal room, I can bitch about it, I can feel it, I can moan about it for a day. I'm not allowed to wake up the next day and keep that process going. Like, just for myself, in terms of my sanity, I let myself feel it, I let myself sit in it. That it's something I don't have any power over. I can't change, I can't alter. Something I have to accept and surrender, let go.
Because it's so important, rather than pushing down what's going on, because it will just explode, and in a situation where we might not particularly want it to explode in. So I love that you sit in those feelings. That's wonderful. Love that.
Yeah, and like trying not to get to a space of reactivity within a rehearsal, or even on a set, because as soon as you're being reactive, you're not open to create. You're not open to be a vessel, or to receive, or to really listen to what you're being asked to do, or what the other actors really saying to you. So yeah, I think like about like sort of getting rid of things that could potentially hinder what you're there to do. And just like, it gets easier and it's not. There are good days and there are bad days. There are days where I feel like I'm doing all the work not to be reactive in a moment, or I'm doing all the work not to just like absorb what the director's feeling me, other than beyond what he's actually trying to tell me to do, Yeah. Trial and error. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
No, but that is amazing though, and I love the beautiful honesty, and then talking about the protection as well, because one of the topics that is huge, really, is about rejection, isn't it? And I like the way that you reframe it. So I've heard someone say before that when you're auditioning, yes, you're auditioning for a part, but you're also auditioning the other side to see if they're right for you. That's the right fit.
Absolutely.
So
and more than not, the casting process denotes for me oftentimes what the production company's like, and the sentiment you get through that process of what this production is going to be like. I just had an experience shooting on a series where like I was briefed with 6 pages to prepare in 2 days, and got the part, but that denoted exactly what the production was like. I was getting pages a day before shoot, 6 pages, 5-page scenes like a day before shoot. And like, they had cast me because I'm a quick turnaround actor. I'm able to process a lot of information quickly and do it. thank God, because of the skills I've developed in myself. But that's what they needed. That's what they were looking for. So there wasn't going to ever be more of a luxurious time to sort of sit in it and find my feet. They needed someone who was able to do that quickly. And that sort of denoted the whole process, you know.
And it goes back to what you were saying before about, you know, when you were first in the business and there wasn't the acceptance that there is now of diversity, of different of sexuality. And, you know, you were in a situation where you were accepting treatment. So now, you know, by seeing that, you know what you will and what you won't accept. And they were bloody lucky to have you, actually. Bloody lucky.
Oh, I have that feeling sometimes, my darling.
Because you go...
I do. But also, I mean, every experience is a gift. And what I keep reminding myself and keep trying to sort of be aware of is that there's a gift in everything. Improv taught me that. Improv told me that there is a gift in everything, in every moment, and in life, right? I think improv taught me so many life lessons, great spiritual life lessons of yes-anding everything, of not saying no to things. Like what if you said yes to things? What is the potential of, what does that add to? What does that become? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of my teachers a few months ago basically said to us all, just say yes now. Yes to everything. So, okay.
Yeah. What you got to lose, you know?
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Which is, you know,
because I think we're more likely to say no. And like our knee-jerk response generally is to go, no.
Well, this is what I wanted to ask you. Was there any situation where you were just like, I really can't do that. This is too big for me. I'm going to say no. But you said yes. And it turned out better than you could have imagined.
Well, that one, going back to that telenovela in Spanish that I shot a couple of years ago, that one was definitely a moment of like, I do not know if this is even in me. There was no Spanish in me. So like, I really had no clue that I could do that. Sorry, what you say?
Is that one of the clips on your casting role?
Yeah, I think there's one little clip of me coming in and saying a line in Spanish to a lady. There's a tiny little clip in my book.
Yeah. No, it's incredible. I mean, I'm going to put all David's information in the links below anyway, so you can find him.
Thanks.
That's right, gorgeous. But that, I mean, you would have no idea that had all been going on before. That was just, brilliant.
Sorry, I have geriatric moments and I'm coming in closer to listen.
It's all right. It might be my voice going.
What was your question?
It wasn't. It was just praise.
Just saying. It
was just a compliment, love.
Oh, thank you.
Please
tell me the compliment again. I'd love to hear it.
You would have no idea. I can't hear you now. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Can you tell me the compliments again? I didn't hear it.
Yes, of course. I will shower you. It was just to say that watching that clip.
Are you laughing at my geriatrics?
What I was saying is you would have absolutely no idea that had happened from all that happened before from watching the clip. It's lost now.
Thanks, darling. I think I got it. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you'd never know like how much fear and anticipation is involved in the lead up to this and to any job, really. Like, I mean, now, like when I watch things in terms of production and shows that I love to watch, like I'm always bowled away by like the level of production and the level of so many things attached to a scene that you're watching or a series that you're watching. And it's never lost on me the amount of work and the preparation that goes into everything that I feel like as a nation now, like as a global as a planet, we're digesting so incredibly quickly. Like we become super sort of like what's the word? Like sort of greedy about what we consume. We consume an insane amount of information, and I don't even know if it really lands with a lot of people. Like the preparation, what goes into it. I mean, like movies take a long time to happen. Like I've now got a movie coming out this year that's playing out at the short film circuit that the director started making 6 years ago.
Wow.
And I shot 4 years ago. And now it's coming out.
Wow.
You know, for 19 minutes. It's a 19-minute short film. You know, and like that amount of work, 6 years of work in an incredible amount of work.
Yeah, wow. So
yeah.
Will I be able to put a link about that as well so people can find more information, or is
that... sure.
Okay.
Sure. Perfect. That's yeah.
I will do that, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
so, I mean, I've got first of all one question, and then I've got another couple of advice questions. But this kind of goes without saying. I mean, how important is it for you to have fun when you're creating? I mean, that's just up there, isn't it?
Right. That's everything. I think what I love to do, I love to play. That is part of my core. I love to play. I think if I'm not playing, I don't feel like I'm contributing or I'm creating. I have to be in a state of play to feel like I'm actually doing something worthwhile with the character or with the scene. And generally, and that's because of a couple of things. Like, I'm only able to play if I walk well with my fear, if I'm speaking nicely to myself, if I prepared. Like, preparation for me is huge. Like, I have to be well prepared, especially when it comes to dialogue. Dialogue needs to be secondary for me, and I work very hard at studying lines. It's a big part of what I do. But that needs to be able to, like, I need to be able to throw that away when it comes to standby. Like, it needs to be able to be something that's sort of part of my skin that I can trust, that I trust myself to jump off that cliff in that moment and play. I think that's real courage for me. Yeah, that is, for me, being a really courageous actor and showing up is to show up and play. Not just show up and say the lines. Anyone can do that. Anyone can do that. You show up and you play. I think is real courage, is real bravery.
Beautiful. That's gorgeous. But as talking about bravery and courage, so some people who've been in situations where they've either never been to an audition or they've had a really bad audition and never gone back again. What would your wise words of wisdom please be for anybody in that situation? Any empaths in that situation who went into the audition, were really happy, and then all of a sudden there's all this noise going on around them and it kind of went a bit wrong?
Well, my first piece of advice would be in their opinion, right? Right. It's normally in our own opinion. It's always our own opinion, right? It's like, it doesn't matter what anyone else says to you unless they say you booked the job. Then we'll tell ourselves, oh, I was good enough. Guessing, maybe. Like, I think for myself, I'm speaking for myself.
That makes sense, because it's seeking, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely.
It's really about your perspective. I think your perspective is power in this industry. If your intentions are true, be honest in your intentions, know what they are. But then also know that a casting director wants you to be the one. You walk through that door, and a casting director, I've worked in the casting industry also for years. As a day job, I studio direct for companies and I cast commercials. And here's what I'll say about that. As an actor, stop thinking about the commercial realm as being part of what you do. I do not consider myself an actor when I walk into a commercial set. I'm not generating a performance. I'm a model. Potentially, I'm cast because of the way I look. And I'm being directed throughout my performance by a director telling me to lift a cup higher, smile a little smaller, like look happier, look less angry. So for me, that I can surrender a lot of sort of like ill feelings about the commercial industry, because I understand that it literally is just about a look. Write it off as it's about a look. You're one in a million. It's not about your talent. No one is looking at you in a commercial casting and going, what an incredible actor. You know, we're going, oh, he's got pretty light eyes and he looks like that guy from Grey's Anatomy. Great. You know, or whatever. That has given me a lot of peace about things. Knowing that they really want you to do well. You're walking into an audition room. We want you to be the person. We want you to be the constable for us. We want you to show up. People are rooting for you in that situation.
Beautiful.
Getting over a bad audition, look at what your thoughts were and what you believed about that bad situation. Because generally that's feeling badly is because we've chosen to believe something, right? Like I've chosen to believe a certain perspective on something. That's why I'm now feeling bad. So check what your thoughts are. Keep a healthy head on you in terms of your routine and how you're loving yourself, so that when you walk in front of a camera and walk out of that room, that you're unchangeable. Like that's I like to walk out of a room and think, I did that. David, you played today. I jumped off a cliff. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. You know?
And you prepared.
And I prepared. Yeah. That's all I can do. That's the only part of it that I can control, is to make sure that I'm prepared as fuck. And that I'm unshakable in that, you know? But then, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on what you're telling yourself in these casting rooms, and waiting to go into casting rooms, and conversations with people and other actors before you go into rooms and after rooms. And a lot of it is coming from places of great hurt and pain in other people too. Be aware of that. Be aware that you might sometimes be speaking out of your hurt body, out of your pain body, you know, that you're also in a situation where like it's high stakes for you. You really want the job, but I surrender rather to that belief I mentioned earlier of like, if it's meant for me, it'll come my way.
Absolutely.
You know?
I love that. I love that. Watch your thoughts and look at the thoughts that were there, because, you know, sometimes people can go into a situation and they've still got this burning passion, but they're so scared to go back into it again. And that's really beautiful advice. Thank you. Really beautiful.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
Lovely.
Thank you so much, my gorgeous, and thank you for being with us.
No, my darling. Just here in Barcelona on a bloody beautiful terraza. It's been gorgeous chatting to you. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my beautiful, so much. I love you very much.
I love you. Thank you very much, and hope everyone listening had a good time.
Yeah, I'm going to share absolutely a good time. I mean, you're half naked, for goodness sake. So thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. I'm going to pop all David's information in there, in the content information, and wishing you, my gorgeous, all the success, all the love, and the world needs to see you.
Thank you, my darling. I wish you the same love and light. I love you. Thank you.
Gorgeous. I love you.
Ciao, darling.